today, starting on second Morkborg book. Morkborg Heretic. The inner light is evil spark, illuminating all in the dark. Hies unto me your withered all. When I die, you within my pale, my spark, in shall be a name. All souls by this shall be doomed. See what shadows had concealed the rusty nail to all reveals. Other caught shall end. No reprieve from what took one night to believe. So I'm not sure this other, so it looks like a poster kind of, and also on this side it looks like maybe some of the creatures featured in the book. Deeds of a cult. Well, I unfortunately am missing my D12, so that'd be hard to roll up, but I'll just read some. Children of Necrobell, Pipes of Sarcantha, Night of Burned Bones, are some, and I guess I shouldn't be saying those aloud. And the cult is secret and unknown, legend, lies, myths. Or it could be 324, thriving, or would be, if only. Or perhaps it's 9, in absolute turmoil, warring and destroying itself from within. And your key member, perhaps the leader, could be a narcissistic pastor back from the grave, or maybe no one, cult hating, thought whisperer who's afraid of the daylight. And your headquarters could be Meadows of Strange, Mist, and Sarkash. Or maybe a bonfire camp in the coldest Kyrgyz crevices. Or perhaps even a graven-tossed murder maid's mausoleum. In order to reach the shimmering fields, one must. 2. In strong trees hang living corpses upside down. 12. Talk only in riddles. Come night you can speak clearly again. Or maybe 20. Tie the legs with itching ropes and always walk slowly. And you truly hate, perhaps, the two-headed basilisks, brutes and false prophets all. Yeah, that would definitely make you a heretic. Or or maybe 18 spineless deserters and filthy gutter scum, or maybe even 4, Verhu claiming to be the head of truth, all hubris and pride. Some unheroic feats. These look like some optional advancement rules. So roll D66 or gain an feat as a narrative achievement. In getting better, if not using an optional class, you may instead gain a feat. You may also gain an additional feat each time you get better, maximum 3. Consult your GM on how feats are gained. Options include randomly choosing or through specific narrative achievements. Choosing feats allows you to make specific character builds. Yeah. I won't read every feat. Also, I really am I just being very intuitively weird? Or is it just like a D100 and you only get, yeah. Or is it just, yeah, I don't get how to roll D66. Am I missing something? So mention it, and it came up, I think, once in the original book, so I just kind of wrote it off as a joke, but they seem on bringing it back. 13, Beastly Scholar. You study the beasts of the land, gutting them and spilling viscera to uncover the world's secrets. You may scry and see the future in an animal's innards. Gain an omen for every 10 HP the beast had, but never more than your own maximum omens, usable once per animal type. The beast's innards may also provide enlightening information. Or perhaps you'd like a blood pact. It's a cruel world to be all alone in. You found a way to avoid this fate. Form a pact with a willing participant. Can communicate by thought, no matter the distance. This never goes away. Whatever one experiences, so does the other. This includes injury and death. Maybe cat size. You looked up at the birds for signs, scattered bones, spilled entrails for naught. But one day you saw your fate in the eyes of a cat lurking in the shadows. Perfect vision in darkness, but the clouded sun's light burns your eyes. DR-2 presence when in darkness, DR+2 in daylight, no matter how dim. Staring into the eyes of wild beasts lets you feel whatever it is feeling. Or maybe you'd like to be a harbinger of misery. You feel a dark blessing course through your veins. You have dedicated yourself to the black disk that will block out the sun. Gain 4 maximum omens instead of 2. As long as you live, the GM rolls 2 misery dice every day. Maybe you just like to be likable. Something about your smile, the way you comport yourself, how you speak. You're best described as approachable. It's weird. Whenever a reaction roll is made, roll 3d6 and keep the highest 2 dice. Maybe you'd like to pick up some living armor. Survive war because of cold steel that was scarred so that you may live. It's become a part of you, and you've learned to carry its burden. Remove the agility penalty for the armor you are currently wearing. This does not affect your defense rolls. You may not remove your armor without painfully dying. This also happens if it breaks. Repairing it is possible, but very painful. Maybe you'd like to pick up a power word. Powers that be whisper dark secrets in your ears wherever you walk. Your incessant chittering never gives you peace. You innately know one random, sacred or unclean power. Additionally, once you have read a scroll, you may carve its esoteric glyphs into your flesh and wield it without the scroll. Every night there is a 1 in 20 chance you accidentally wield the power in your sleep, with a 1 in 6 chance of fumbling. Perhaps you'd like some vile blood. Something about your blood is wrong. It's more akin to a corpse's putrid liquor. Whenever a creature attacks you with a biting attack and hurts you, it is poison. It suffers D4 damage for D6 rounds. Additionally, should you suffer an infection, roll a D2. On a 2, you are not affected. So it looks like we're into some optional classes. Sacrilegious Songbird. Always the bringer of unwelcome misfortune. Unwelcome sounds. Your vocation as a bard left you destitute and disreputable until the rueful day when a being of impious character made you the deal of lifetime. Your soul may be screaming, but your throat sings sweetly, and your purse ever sweeter. A small price to pay. The deal was struck in a Schleswig prison cell. The amplified personality. When you made your life and soul altering deal, you were gifted one of the following accursed instruments. 6. Lute of the Acute Brute. When strummed, the sound of this axe-shaped D8 damage instrument makes the strength and presence score of anyone hearing it swap for the next D6 days. However, repeated listening has no effect. Shedding Vicar, a flaying class. Armor is weak, clothing a sin, and skin abhorrent vanity. King Sigfrim's hubris needs to be stripped from the lands, from our bodies, as skin is shed and scabs peeled. The day when the wounds don't heal is the beginning, and we must seek absolution. The first peel is always the worst, but remember, at the end of painless, the promised true vindication. Your first peel was Sarkash Hermit, and what and why is from heel to buttocks for evasion and rise. I guess well no, it says 2d6. It kind of makes sense to, I guess some only do have, yeah, to me it makes sense to have 3 columns. Pain is either a stranger or your constant companion. Regardless, you're not bothered by any amount of it. And you get one of the following blessings, a 6, Blood Trail. The sign of blood always finds you, and you it. You are able to track another shedding vicar or any wounded creature who has passed by within the past week. An immense cemetery, older and greater than a memory. Graventosk sits in Sarkash like a festering scab. To the east, the Shadow King's manse looms always, impossibly equidistant. Although abandoned since the palace's ruination, bodies somehow keep finding their way inside. All the while, living and unliving attempt to claw their way out. A bit of Metonia. This adventure started as a starting point of your campaign, a one-shot or a post-total party kill adventure. Due to its massive size and unsettling nature, even PCs familiar with other parts of the cemetery are oblivious to this adventure's locales. Have the players awaken in the plague pit, in coffins under suffocating earth, or wherever you deem appropriate. There is an unifying ending, a clear escape. Once the Undertaker's hut is explored, there should plan a potential getaway or be hopelessly lost. And a more obvious exit or method of escape if you feel that would end their misery. It won't. So I'm almost considering ending here. That it'd be pretty close, short. Or maybe we'll let's see if we can get there. Yeah. So this looks pretty linear, actually. Well, except yeah, so places may not be where they appear when traveling the graveyard. Roll a d4 to see where you're at. So the graveyard, walking purposely is hard in the fog. Winding paths seem bent, on leading fools astray. Traveling between places takes 15 minutes. Roll for a random encounter each time. So walking the trails you might have found. A 4, Mouse's Vomitorium. Which, yeah, those are just the 4 places. So this seems to be a table for if you're running this as a one-shot or the start of a campaign, to give each of your characters some information. So maybe your character knows the dead sleep well to a magical instrument's music, which is false. The graveyard is full. No one uses it anymore. Maybe. Or the place is growing warmer, which is true. And some random encounters you might have gotten. 6 to 10, a random PC experience sensory strangeness. Maybe a 2, a ghastly widow wraith. And some sensory strangeness, you could have gotten an invisible breathing behind your right or left ear. Or maybe a wind chills the spine, yet makes you sweat. Oh. I'm not gonna go ahead and read through the stats. So, reaching the plague pit, number 2. A repugnant smell, illuminated by moonlight, the color of sour milk, encircled by soupy fog whose tendrils occasionally creep down. Corpses at differing stages of decay, any direction, the graveyard. West, ruined tunnel to Erhard's tomb. Looting the bodies, it lets you find 2. Rusted but functional short sword, or maybe 3 D10 silver. Erhard's tomb, which is the only solid direction from the pit. Still warm air, dark floor covered in drifting fog. Standing sarcophagus sealed, flanked by 2 unlit torches. North is a narrow crawl-space to catacomb corridor. East is back to the plague pit. And south is the tunnel to Colander Room. Opening the sarcophagus. Test strength DR18 reduced by 2 for each assistant. Failure means everyone involved takes D4 damage as the lid opens. Inside, a man's odorless corpse in near perfect condition, wearing silk clothes. The skin is waxy, malleable like dough, and very flammable. Digging into the body reveals an iron skeleton, a fist-sized ruby inside the rib cage. So the Colander Room. Well, no matter what the map says, you can get there. Going south from Erhard's tomb. Half-lit by moonbeams, piercing minuscule holes in stone and dirt. Long worms and mist droop and drip from the ceiling, the sound of chattering teeth. Circular chamber with a ceiling, pierced by thousands of tiny holes. 3 fog-bound skeletons wrapped in foggy coils sit at a stone table. Arguing on the table, a locked metal strongbox. North is back to Erhard's tomb, and east, Earth tunnel to Mouse's vomitorium. Unheard voices. The fog-bound skeletons speak with elongated tongues of mist, soundless save the unmistakable clatter of tooth against tooth. One weighs an elaborate key-like dagger in a bony hand. The skeleton unkey. Attempting to grab the dagger or strongbox makes the skeletons hostile. The dagger is usable as a key that opens any lock. Things unlocked this way lead to unexpected, rarely convenient places. And if using the unkey, you could find 4 red sand. If opened by normal means, the strongbox contains 200 silver coins, which I believe that's quite a bit. Mouse's vomitorium. So, sort of final destination on this path. Acid sour smell permeates the air. Illuminated by sickly glowing puddles of green and yellow gall. The sound of a boiling pot. Ornate stone-walled chamber, flagstone floor eroded by pools of gall. 2 rows of columns hold the chamber's buckling ceiling. A marble coffin on raised dais, leaking yellow gall from a bubbling lid. North, stone doors and staircase to surface. West, collapsed wall to Colander Room. Noble woman and the witch. The legendary bard made noble fellow Mouse was cursed by a bog hag after neglecting to fulfill are part of a long-forgotten occult enterprise. The sour stomach broth corrodes flesh but not bone in minutes. D6 damage around. Opening the coffin, the dais is covered in flowing gall. Walking up the coffin surely results in burnt flesh and ruined shoes. Floating in the wicked liquid are Mouse's bones and the heresy-inscribed cursed organ and Mouse's favorite instrument, the rosette baritona, desecrated by the bog hag, a corrupted horn of roses, a human-sized ivory horn bedecked with Mouse's family skulls and bound in magical entrails. When blown, it spews a noise that forces listeners to test toughness, DR10 or vomit acid, taking D6 damage. Blower, beware. The catacomb corridor, dark, deadly quiet, balmy, and unventilated. Stretching north to south, toothless skeletons rest in dusty niches along the wall. Three large urns on the floor, lamp thrown on the ground. North, tunnel to the roach herder's lair. East, crawl space, Gerhard's tomb through a broken niche wall. South, staircase to origin fountain. Smell the stagnant water. Opening an urn could let you get a 4. Lamp oil, enough for 46 hours. The origin fountain. The smell of stagnant water, whispers of laughing children. A grand rectangular fountain decorated and ancient. Cherubs vomiting mist. 2 statues at the fountain's crest are holding a stone jar. A bridge of protruding pillars leads across the mist to a stone door. Drawing steps to catacomb corridor. Reaching the door. Test agility or DR12 or slip on a pillar, falling into mist. The cherubs laugh. Moments later, the PC wakes in the catacomb corridor, toothless and aged. Head spinning with a lifetime of memories not quite their own. In this withered body, their abilities are one lower than what they remember. The jar. To reach it, test agility, DR16 or fall into the mist. Contains nostalgia gruel, enough to restore 2 people to their prime, increasing all abilities +1. So the roach herder's lair, hot and humid, rancid sweat stinks, clings to nostrils. Sound of rushing water from the north. Covered in debris and things stolen for nameless graves and tombs. An occupied throne of trash and would-be valuables. Roaches, meaty and otherwise, sit and scurry on the shit-stained floor. The roach herder, a grave robber made hermit, sits on his throne, roach whip in grubby hand. After being unable to escape the cursed graveyard, his party members eventually die, leaving him terribly alone. Now he breeds roaches, hoping to hatch one big enough to fly him back to the city he once rejected. Recruiting the Roach King. Is breeding and never so far without triumph. The roach herder is keen to attach himself to the party, hoping they'll secure his escape. An insecure liar and untrustworthy narcissist who values his own skin above all else. The roach herder offers to guide them to the Undertaker's shack. The Shadow King's sewer. The air carries petrichor as ice-cold droplets. Splash warm stone. Birds are drowned by pitch-black water, deafeningly crashing past. Stone tunnel, amputated by a river of frothing and rushing water heading north and west. North, nothing but cold hard rock. Above, hatch and rope to the strange weed tree. Someone standing on another's shoulders could reach. The currents are strong. Anyone touching the water must have strength or DR14 or be swept away. They drown before long. Rotten coffins or makeshift rafts would surely be crushed before reaching the ocean. The strange leaf tree. A wind blows through wheezing branches, chilling the air and carrying decay smell far away. A huge tree, long since leafless, branches groaning from a dozen hanging bodies wait. Nooses sway excitedly in the wind. Above, a wooden door just big enough to crawl through, firmly planted at the top of a rickety plank ladder. Any direction the graveyard below, rope to Shadow King's sewer. Inside the tree, going through the door reveals tree is hollow. A long rope attached somewhere far above leads somewhere far below. Climbing the rope weighs it down, causing the nooses outside to pull on the corpses with every movement, macabre marionette show. The undertaker's hut, the intermingled smell of wet lumber and rotting flesh. Light flees through the cracks of a closed window shutter. Muffled voices are audible inside. Stone hut with a thatched roof and walls covered in creeping vines. Outside piles of logs, a dozen barrels, and half as many freshly made coffins, a rogue woman's body, an open grave beside her, a worn shovel. Behind the hut, a small garden, overgrown. The deadened. The undertaker dug graves and made coffins. She buried corpses and left them to rot. Some refused to do so quietly, some she silenced herself, some died, some didn't. The deadened are living, breathing people, like the PCs who by chance or fate found themselves alive. They made it to the hut, proceeding to confront the Undertaker in order to escape. She refused to cooperate, so they killed her. Unable to leave, they've decided to stick around. When the PCs arrive, the deadened are inside the hut, signing chores and arguing about first watch. They're friendly enough and invite the PCs to join them in settling down. And then, a twist of fate. At some point during the deadened encounter, the air grows suddenly chill, and the ever-present flies buzzing seems strangely distant. Neck hairs stand on the edge of an impossible abyss as the fog swirls around the uncovered grave. The Uber Taker. Rising, floating a few feet above the ground, is the Undertaker's body. Face gaunt, eyes sunken and filled with a mad purple fire. Green-covered robes swirl around grim feet, the shovel a fiery pull-on of doom. Upon festering, the Undertaker's body and vengeful mind hosted a being both lesser and greater than human, a servant of a faraway underworld, an Uber Taker. This creature is concerned with one thing, to bring people back below dirt. So that brings us up to the end of this short adventure, which I quite enjoyed. I really am enjoying this so far. I wasn't sure what to expect from it. It's got a very zine-like feel. Had some like sort of optional rules, couple short little adventures, and I'm not sure what we'll even get to go in the back. It looks like another short adventure, but I'm not sure what else. Really enjoying this. I'm not sure when we'll be back to pick it up. Possibly Monday. But that's it for today. Most likely no stream tomorrow.